There's a woman who's written a anti-feminist book in which she goes back to the first wave, and her attack begins with Mary Wollstonecraft's vindication of the woman of the rights of women, and goes on to attack Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton and the women's suffrage movement. I think at a certain point, some things should be considered settled. Okay, I don't think we have to go back and continuously refight yesterday's battles. Although some people seem to want to do this in the case of gender roles. But there really isn't any point to it. Nor is there any point in a lot of other things, okay? Like, for example, in the 19th century, they had the spoils system, which was a factor in the assassination of President James Garfield. The vice president who took over, Chester Arthur, signed the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act into law, and they went to a merit system. And after about a decade or so, there wasn't really any call to go back to the spoils system. And we're not going back to the spoils system. Once the Civil War was over, there was no call to go back to enslavement. Once we put down segregation, that was it. Okay. Women have had the right to vote since about 1920 in America. They have the right to enter any profession of their choosing and just about any educational institution. They've had it for quite some time. We don't need to go back and fight it again. And, trying to make a controversy about something that's been settled for about 100 years is really rather pointless. It's settled, and it's going to stay settled. We really need to move on to things that we can all, need to be dealt with in the present time and in the future. Despite that woman's book where she, attacks things that were going on in the 18th century, in the 21st century, you're not going to be able to turn the calendar back and make it into the 17th century. I mean, if she wants to join a group that role plays the 17th century, she could do that. Maybe there are groups that do that. I don't know. I did one time read about somebody that supposedly lived in a home that tried to, live out their version of the Victorian era. And I know people have adopted styles from various past eras. Okay, but this is the 21st century, not the 17th century. We're not going to go back. We have women on the Supreme Court. We have women astronauts. Women have been voting for over 100 years in this country. There's a woman Archbishop of Canterbury in England. You can't turn the calendar back. And there's really no point in trying.